And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Wrestle Pierce Raw Review. Here again to talk about the go home show to Monday to WrestleMania, the go home Raw to WrestleMania in Brooklyn, New York. I'm your host, Ibu of Wrestle Pierce, better known to many of you guys as Backup Hangman. And I'm joined as usual with my co host, Rob of the Island of Relevancy. Rob, the Island of Relevancy, I thought it was a strong night for those guys last night. What do you think, and how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Spent the morning, trimming up the lawn, doing up the lawn. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't when the people roll by, when they roll by the house. You know what I'm saying? We can't have the house looking all right. We can't have the house looking crazy. You know what I'm saying? So we had to do a little bit of yard work this morning, touch up this place. I'm very very excited to talk about today's Raw. As Ebu has seemingly dropped out. There we go. He's back. But very excited to talk about that angle last night. Y'all was talking all that shit about Roman, and the final go home show he had y'all. He showed y'all and he's still the number one. He's still the tribal chief. So
Yeah, I thought it was an important night for Roman Reigns, a night where he needed to have a good angle, he needed to have a good showing, he needed to be involved, and by the time the show closing angle was done, I felt that he did achieve these things, which was important because he just felt so absent from everything, and so I just needed him to get involved in some physicality. I needed him to get involved in something emphatic, something very just meaningful,
yes,
and he did. He did. He cut a promo yesterday, but more importantly, he got physical at the end of the show, and I thought it was a strong closing angle on the go home show to WrestleMania for Monday Night Raw. But we'll talk about all that, guys, and more. But first, please make sure to like the video, comment, send super chats. We'll read your opinions. We'll go through all that type of stuff. Give us your feedback on what happened on Monday Night Raw. Pretty eventful show, pretty good show in my opinion. And we'll get into all of that. Give us your opinions on the angles they shot, some of the future directions, and the teases they made. Andrade, I thought this was very interesting. We'll talk about it again later, but like Andrade is basically like Dominic's hitman at the moment, and he's
yep,
been tasked with taking out a guy who don't look now, but Ricochet's white hot, and he's in the midst of a 4-match winning streak where he's just winning these single showcases on TV, and now they've enlisted the services of Andrade to take out Ricochet, and he's been told that if he wins this match, he'll be a part of Judgment Day. But there might be some complications with that because uh, he's been enlisted to take out Judgment Day, but
hmm,
Damian Priest is not on board with Andrade. And Rhea
yeah,
Ripley's not on board with Dominic talking to Legado del Fantasma and fraternizing with them as much as he has.
yes.
So there's a lot of internal politics going on there. I'm not sure what's gonna come out of this, but it's very interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out. But again, guys, we'll talk about all that and more on this Raw review. Please make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, send super chats, and with that underway, let's go through some of them now before we get right into this episode of Monday Night Raw.
Uh, so far we have one super chat because we haven't been live that long.
Sure, we'll read it.
So
Let's
far
read
we
it.
have it. Yeah. We have one super chat.
All right,
Jay Stone.
get the first wave in, guys. Get them in now.
Definitely. Jay Stone, 499 was at the Barclays last night. Hey, man, shout out to you. The energy for the opening segment was wild. Fingers crossed that this Ricochet push stays consistent.
Yo, the crowd during that opening segment was crazy. Like they were rumbling for The Rock, rumbling for him. And not only were they rumbling for him, when Seth Rollins brought up the idea of potentially wrestling The Rock, did you hear that crowd? Like they were going ballistic when Seth was like challenging The Rock to a match. Like they couldn't believe it. So yeah, I believe you that it was electric in there because it came across on TV. It was remarkable to me. Like there were times on the show where where the crowd was cold, and then but for like The Rock and the big stuff, they were losing their minds. Very clearly, it was very laid bare on Raw that this was a crowd that came there to see very specific things and very specific people.
Yes.
Because for the people that they came to see, they were absolutely white hot, and for the
Yep.
stuff that they didn't care about, they were just silent. Again, it goes to show you that stars are important because people go to wrestling show to see stars, and so that does mean that sometimes like there's other parts of the show that they don't particularly care for, but they're there for very specific things and very specific people. So yeah, thank you for the super chat.
All right, Will Chisholm, $5. The Rock was whooping Cody like he was doing 12 years a slave too.
Oh
The
my god.
Rock, the funniest thing The Rock does to me now is like when he's talking and he'll go, you can understand, boy. Where The Rock. He did it like 3 times during the last segment. He did it like twice during the first segment. He's like, he was telling fucking Seth, he was like, you're gonna understand, boy, because you're not facing The Rock. You're not facing Roman Reigns. You're facing Solo Sikoa, and it's gonna be bloodline rules, boy. He's so beast. He's
He's
so
an animal. He's an absolute monster. The Rock and Roman Reigns savagely whipping the dog shit out of Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins to close Monday Night Raw. Uh, Ripping Cody's shirt off to whip him, whipping Seth Rollins. Roman Reigns gave a spear to Cody that I've never seen. I've never seen Roman do a spear as good as the one he did to Cody Rhodes. It
Team
it it it
Plasma!
literally looked like a Yoda Suji Gene Blast. Roman Reigns has clearly been watching his New Japan World. Uh, Again, we will get into that and more. But thank you for the super chat, Will Chisholm.
All right. Black Yakuzu 94, $5. It was always going to be difficult to follow up last week's ending angle. New York always shows out. Sad I had to miss it, but I'm going to Philly instead. Hey man, at least you get to go to Philly, bro. It's gonna be lit, bro.
Uh,
The Mania weekend indie shows maybe not so much, but hey man, the main shows that you're gonna be there for, like Supercard has a good card. What else? Fucking Mania, the Stand and Deliver has a good card. So hey.
mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Should be a fun weekend. You know what? Before we get into everything, Rob, let's talk about the night one, night two layouts they have right now because
Yeah,
they have announced.
you want me to pull it up?
Yeah, would you be able to?
Yeah, I got you. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, so WWE, while you're doing that, WWE, they've officially told you what's on what night. So I guess their card is finalized, at least as of right now. They've decided they've kind of they've positioned certain matches on certain nights, and the layout is interesting. I think it's so far it's looking like another year where night one cooks night two. But that's also dependent on how much the main matches on night two deliver. So it's very interesting. But night one looks really fun. A lot of the matches that I wanted to see and that I really care about, they're on the first show. So while Rob's getting that out,
I'm gonna
there we
zoom
go.
in. Don't worry, I'm gonna zoom in.
I was gonna say, brother, I cannot see this.
Alrighty, there you go.
All right. So night one, we have Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch, Gunther versus Sami Zayn, the six-pack tag team ladder match for the Undisputed Tag Championships, which I'll point this out now, Rob. I don't know if you noticed this. They announced yesterday that the match ends when both titles are taken from the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning you can take like the Raw belts off the thing, the hook, and the match isn't over. So I do think this is going to be what they use to separate the tag belts. And
I'm noticing. I'm
correct.
noticing that.
I think I think I think what are their names? I think that
I know who you're thinking of.
Awesome Truth and the New Catch Republic are going to win this match.
Yeah, probably. Or
Something like that.
do you see I don't really see it happening, but do you see DIY taking the SmackDown belts and making a move?
Maybe. I don't know.
Because anybody could win those SmackDown tag belts.
Sure.
So
Sure. They're going to do a draft. I mean, last year they did the draft in May, so we'll see when they do it this year. But anyway, so after the six pack, we have a Jay. They're doing Jay and Jimmy on night one. They're doing Bianca, Jade, and Naomi versus Damage Control on night one. We're getting the Latino World Order, Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee against Santos Escobar and Dirty Dom Mysterio. That should be really fucking fun. And I'm looking forward to that one. And then we also get on this night Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns and The Rock. I think as a singular night, 7 matches, it looks like a fun show. Like we have you got the serious singles match with Becky versus Rhea. Can you scroll back to the top? I want to check something before I say this. Okay, yeah. So we have three singles matches on this show. Gunther Sammy is going to be tremendous. Becky
Mhm.
versus Rhea should be really good. Jay Jimmy, I'm not really sure about that one. But besides that, it's a bunch of multi-mans and undercard tags, and so in a weird way, it's almost structured like a Japanese wrestling show. Um, yeah, depending on the card order, that could be just a terrific show. Um, and then we have night two. Night two is Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre with CM Punk on commentary. This is a singles match for the World Heavyweight Championship. We have Io Sky versus Bayley for the WWE Women's Championship. AJ Styles and LA Knight will finally get to have their singles match on this night. Logan Paul, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, triple threat for
Hold
the
on,
international.
Ibu.
What's up?
I'm noticing something, Ibu.
What are you noticing, Rob?
They said there was going to be 7 matches on both nights, Ibu. There's only 7 here and 6 here. You know what could get added?
What could get added, Robert?
Yo, we need Andrade. Yo. I don't need that discourse on night 2, bro. I can't cap. We need Andrade and Ricochet on night 2 now.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I think that's
Now.
the perfect show, Rob. That's the perfect match to open night two up. Ricochet and Andrade going ballistic, going dummy, going
You could do
stupid.
their 15-minute version of neither of these men are like these wrestlers, but you could do their 15-minute version of Kurt and Sean. Them two just going out there, going at it, going crazy for 15 minutes.
I think that match should be freaking tremendous. I think they should do it. That would be the perfect. And I'll tell you what, it would offset a lot of our complaining on Sunday when we're talking about the card. Because to be honest, I'm pretty happy with this card. My issue is just that why are we omitting some of the best wrestlers in the company? And I said between the trio of Chad, Andrade, and Ricochet, if we can get two of those three on the show, I'm not going to complain. And it looks like, well, not looks like, we're gonna do Andrade and Ricochet, which I said was gonna happen. The question now is what show we're doing it on, and I think it
Yeah.
should be on Mania. If you notice, Dominic said, "Well, we'll stick Andrade on Ricochet if you can't take him out in the Battle Royal, right? The Battle Royal is Friday. Hopefully, on after that Battle Royal match, we go straight to setting up the angle. So we'll see. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I think it's very likely they do it on the Raw after Mania, but selfishly, I think it'd be great for WrestleMania if you put it on night two. But continuing on with the card, Logan Paul, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, that could be good. That could be very fun. Joe Holbert is really confident that that's going to be like a great match. Um, I'm not as into Logan Paul's matches as I was like a year ago, so
Yeah.
maybe that's why I don't have the same amount of faith. But yeah, I could see. I mean, I could see this being really, really cool. We'll see how it turns out.
You know
Um,
why you don't have the faith? Because WWE, and if we touch on this weekend, like getting into the show, I'll get into it like further. But I think WWE messed up with Logan Paul, where they are just starting to try to present him as like a real bell to bell wrestler. When at first they presented him as like the guy that does all the flips and the dives.
he was a celebrity that did viral shit, and you were like,
Yeah,
"Holy crap, he could do that!" Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, it could be fun. Look, Randy Orton and Kevin are super over right now, so we'll see how it turns out. Bobby Lashley, Angelo Dawkins, and Montez Ford are taking on the Final Testament, Karrion Kross, Akam, and Razor. And this is going to be a six-man Philadelphia street fight. A lot of people are kind of down on this because they're down on the program, and that's very understandable. It's been a pretty just middling and average storyline on TV. However, I do think on this night specifically, I kept saying this that on the night, I think they're gonna have a really good arena brawl. I think that
Mhm.
this could be fun because I think it's just gonna be Bobby Lashley unleashed in a way we haven't seen in like a year and a half at this point. And I think it's just gonna be him just wrecking, the AOP dudes, these big dudes slamming them, breaking tables. Hopefully we get like a spear off the stage or something. Angelo Dawkins and Montez running wild, doing dives, doing flips, big frog splashes. So yeah, I actually think this is going to be one of the more fun matches on this show, and obviously the main event is Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns for the undisputed Universal Championship. So that's the card so far. That's night one and night two. On paper, night one looks much more fun, but night two still looks pretty solid. Night two, what it is it's more dependent on the big matches delivering, and I think they're less surefire bets to deliver than night ones, but that doesn't mean that it can't. So we'll see how it turns out. We'll see how it turns out. You guys let us know your thoughts on the cards and everything else leading up to WrestleMania. Send us the super chats. Give us your opinions on all those things.
Absolutely. Let's speaking of super chats, let's get through the rest of these super chats. Let me take this down. All right, let's get to the rest of these before we start the review. Only Hush 199, only Drew video and no Punk for Go Home. Why?
Yeah, I think they just felt like Drew's already said everything he's needed to say in this build. As for Punk, it's I don't know, man. He was at TV. Last week he was under the impression that he was going to be at TV and he may do something on the show. And then he was told when he was told over the weekend that he's not going to be in any type of segment or angle. I can tell you guys this. I can tell you guys for a fact that apparently CM Punk had to be held back, like comedically, but like he had to be restricted from running out there when they were chanting his name at the main event segment. When they were chanting for CM Punk during the Bloodline beatdown, he badly wanted to just audible and run out there, but they were like, "That's not the
To do
plan."
what?
No, he just wanted to do a babyface save.
Like that, but to do what, brother?
I don't, he wanted to fight.
Like,
He wanted to fight off the bloodline. I
nigga,
don't
you
know.
have one arm.
He was just lit, bro. He's just like, "Hey, man, I'm ready." When the crowd is chanting for you like that, he probably just wanted to rip the brace off and run out there. But uh,
Sit in your chair and watch on the sideline like a good like a good guy, buddy.
I guess so. So yeah, there you have it. But nah, no Punk on the show. I do wish he was, because I think from a rating standpoint, I liked Raw, right? But from a rating standpoint, they did like big marquee stuff at the beginning when they're going head to head with the basketball game, and then they had the big closing angle. But like from a ratings drawing standpoint, there wasn't anything in between there that I think would really hook viewers in like a big time way. They needed like a middle of the show 9 p.m. 9:30 p.m. big time segment with a superstar. And they didn't have that, and I think it's going to suffer because of it.
Hey man, you know what they say? Every big main event angle got the CM Punk chair. These are things that I hear. Will Chisholm, $5. I love how Andrade told Santos, "I remember you playing off their pass."
He also said that to Angel Garza, Rob. I don't know if you caught that. He looked at
Mhm.
Angel and said, "I remember you too." And people, it's probably a forgotten thing at this point, but Angel Garza and Andrade were tag teaming in 2020, and they were managed by Zelina Vega.
Hold on, I'm trying to find the picture.
Hmm.
Let me read the next super chat.
Yep.
Corey David. Oh, brother. It's $5. Hey Rob, like that dub Caitlyn served y'all. Would have it should have had Flage guard her horrible coaching, but if Angel doesn't mess her ankle up, it will be a problem. Bro, I'm not gonna go too hard on this, bro. Literally, if y'all watch that entire fucking game, yo, Haley Van Lith, leave my city immediately. You're gone. You're banned. You are not allowed back here. Every time we had the advantage, bro, Kim Mulkey would put her in and she would just get cooked. She was getting cooked. This nigga Ibu even tweeted out, he said, bro, the game was over in the third quarter.
The game was over in the third quarter, bro.
Bro,
That
she was
was
getting cooked.
She was getting annihilated. At one of the 3-pointers that Caitlin Clark hit, she just kind of shrugged her shoulders, like, I don't know what you want to do with that. I don't know.
If I would have, don't let me be Kim Mulkey and I see her shrug her shoulders. You're not playing the rest of the game. What the fuck, y'all? She's overrated, pretty bad. Go back to Go back to St. Louis. We don't speak. We don't like your kind here. Anyway, Hush 499. No way they let Cody and Seth win the tag belts. Oh, win the tag because of the last 2 weeks. But do you have them also look weak for a third time in a row losing?
Uh, it's tough because I don't really care what finish they do as long as Cody wins the championship. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I'm getting this weird feeling they're gonna beat Rock and Roman, which I mean that'd be nice, but I just the way WWE books, it'd be kind of insane to me that they beat Rock and Roman, but Cody loses. I mean, but Cody wins the next night. Like I don't feel like they're gonna give Cody 2 straight Bloodline wins in a row. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully, I'm wrong. I do feel like once they brought up the concept of Bloodline rules, it has to happen so that you can do the Rock, so that you can do Stone Cold and John Cena running in on the second night. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like Rock and Roman Reigns are gonna go over. I think
Yeah.
Cody. I think Cody. I don't know. Is Rock gonna be on SmackDown? If Rock and Roman are on SmackDown, I think Cody and Seth will get the best of them in that angle.
You know what? You know what we could do? Somebody in the live chat, please let us know if the fuck is his name? Roman and The Rock are advertised for Friday.
I feel like I would have
On
seen a
Raw.
graphic on Raw if they were. I did not see one. I think.
But you know
I think.
how like the local shit, some of the local shit.
Right, right, right. I think. Only thing I know about SmackDown, they're doing a tag match with the New Catch Republic and A Town
Oh yeah,
Down.
so they'll be there. They'll be there.
They're there for Hall of Fame. Yeah, so they should just do the show. I hope they don't do some nonsense where like they're getting ready for the Hall of Fame, so they don't want to put them on the show. They might just do some dumb stuff like that. Like they're gonna be in the building though, so we'll see what they end up doing
Black Yakuza
there.
said Friday is about Jay and Jimmy. Probably. Probably. Um
Fridays by J&J. Maybe. Good, good.
Chi-Town Spurs $2. Caitlin Clark owns Baton Rouge. Sorry, Rob. This is white supremacy at its finest. That's all this is. Next super chat. Hush 199. N2 night two main event. I know why I said N2. Night two main event is going over an hour. That's why that's why it's their 6 matches. I hope they don't go an hour. What could they do in an hour?
I think it goes like 30 something minutes.
I think it goes 5 minutes longer than it did last year. So
Yeah.
um thank you for the super chat. Will Chisholm $5. It's crazy how Punk is having fun in WWE. Never thought that 10 years ago. He tells y'all he's having fun.
His interview was very interesting yesterday. He's in an interesting space right now. So I hope Punk stays happy, and I hope things work out for him, and I hope he gets healthy soon because I think he's very compelling, and I think him and Drew McIntyre's a money program. I want to see that. Thank you for the super chat, Will.
Glizzy, this is crazy. Glizzy King 999. If slash when Roman loses on Sunday, I will cry tears of joy. Not only because Cody won, but also I witnessed one of the greatest title reigns ever happened in real time, and it would just feel special. See, that's the thing, Glizzy King, is you're not gonna be crying tears of joy because Cody won or any of that. You're gonna be crying tears of joy because the reign is continuing. We're beating Bruno. I hope you all understand this. This is a thing that is taking place. So yeah, we're beating Bruno. Corey David, $2. You think Paul gives in and gets a women's battle royal?
Eh,
I hope not. Don't do it.
it was announced 40 minutes ago that the triple threat tag team match between Axiom and Nathan Frazier versus the LWO versus the Good Brothers will kick off NXT.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, the winners of this match face Braun and Corbin at the Stand and Deliver show, right?
Yep. Yep.
So selfishly, I would hope that this is something that Axiom and Nathan Frazier win because their first match is great. But I mean, they've been building Good Brothers. I don't think they would send them down for them to not be in the match. So I guess the best you could hope for is like a double pin and they do a triple threat tag, maybe. But I think Gallows and Anderson are locked to be on Stand and Deliver. Uh, Regarding the women's battle royal, I mean, I don't know what they end up doing there. I don't know.
Yeah, that's they doing their thing. Another $2 from Corey David. Punk said PLE. I knew WWE got to him.
I'm crying.
Selling
That's
out to the
hilarious.
man, huh? Very, very punk of you. CM Punk.
All right, is that it so far?
Yep, that's it. That's it so
Guys,
far.
thank you so much for the super chats. Please keep them coming. We'll read more throughout the night. Throughout the day. But without further ado, let's get into Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw emanated from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, and the first hour was commercial free. And The Rock opened the show coming out. They hit this big theme, the bum bum bum. Now it's this final boss on the Titantron. which I actually kind of don't like. I love the old visual where it was just thunder and then he comes out, right? Now they have these big dorky letters that say the final boss. You don't need to keep that on the screen. Just keep it the visual that it was. But anyway, Rock comes out there. Brooklyn's going absolutely insane for the Rock, Rob. They're going insane for this guy, losing their minds, chanting Rocky, all that type of stuff. They're losing their minds for him. He's doing his shtick. He's doing the finally. The Rock has come back. The final boss has come back to Brooklyn. Fans are going crazy for him. He's dissing the Cody crybabies. He's crapping on them. He was asking if there's any crybabies in the building. He told him, he said, "I told y'all I'd made that boy bleed." So he did that. Got popped for this. He decided to then turn his attention to videos of crying children, because there were some videos of crying children who saw the beatdown of Cody Rhodes, and I saw the second one. I saw that one on Twitter where the girl was just like, "He's gone, man. He's like, he's dead. He can't bring him back."
Yeah.
It was the most adorable thing in the world. This poor girl. She looks like she's maybe 2 or 3 years old.
Oh.
She sincerely believes Cody Rhodes is dead, which is like just, oh man, that's so sad. But yeah, The Rock was just kind of lambasting Cody crybabies. He said that hurts his heart. He says, "I'm a girl dad." The Rock's a 3-time girl dad, proud 3-time girl dad. So that hurts his heart. He let's see here. He freaking said, like, if you have little ones right now, put them up and close to the screen right now. And do you remember what he said when he said that?
He says something along the lines of like, hold on, I'm gonna go look at the lineup.
Found it. Here he goes, "Put your kids in front of the TV because Uncle Rock is gonna drop some gospel on you." And he said that there were moments in life when a man has to do what a man's got to do, and there are moments in
Yeah.
life where people stick their nose in business that isn't there, and when people talk shit when they shouldn't have been talking shit.
He said shit, right?
Yes. Big Rocky chants. Rock said, "Right now, professional wrestling is cool. Right now, the ratings have skyrocketed because of The Rock. Right now, tonight, you have set a record for the largest gate in the history of Raw ever. And there's one reason why." And he says, "Finally, blood has been shed." And he said, "Finally, we are 5 days away from WrestleMania. And finally, The Rock has come."
No, that's not what he said. He said, finally, the final boss has come back to Brooklyn.
And then he goes, and turn that echo off now. But he goes, "But I didn't come alone." And that cues Roman Reigns' theme song. Roman Reigns walks out. Roman Reigns is basically like, "Hey, y'all saw my documentary?" So he's plugging his kayfabe documentary. He said that they didn't come for no reason. He said he came here to acknowledge his family. The crowd is chanting "Yeet." Roman Reigns replies to the fans and says, "No Yeet. And if y'all want to try that bullshit tonight, I'm gonna leave." He said, to be honest, it's gonna be the easiest WrestleMania of his life. And he was just talking about how he's gonna destroy like Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. He thanked The Rock. Regarding Cody's beatdown, Roman Reigns said, "I didn't need to see Rock do it, but damn, it felt good to see him do it." And so he thanked Roman Reigns. Sorry, he thanked The Rock again. He told Cody that he wasn't fit for these shows. He said Cody's a politician. He's lucky to be there. Roman Reigns is taking credit for making WWE cool again. He said it started in 2020 with the Bloodline. And he said Cody was off somewhere doing a whole lot of nothing, referring to his AEW run. And he basically framed it
A whole
as
lot of nothing. What The Rock say? "Oh, hold on, I got a call. Yeah, it's nothing. He says he knows you." Nothing.
That was the famous backstage Hollywood Rock segment with the Hurricane. But yeah, so Roman Reigns basically made it seem like I made WWE cool. You weren't doing jack in AEW, and I let you back in my company. I'm a benevolent king. So he said all of that. But yeah, they were just talking trash, and we run this business, all that. Seth Rollins comes out. He's talking his trash to The Rock and all them, and he essentially challenges The Rock to a match on Raw. He said, "If you have the balls." And the crowd goes absolutely ballistic. They're rumbling. They're losing their minds. They're like, "Oh my God, there's no way on what they're building as the biggest Raw ever. There is no way that Seth Rollins is going to face The Rock on Raw." And they were correct. The Rock was not facing Seth Rollins. He turned his attention to Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns isn't going to get in that ring either. ends up being Solo. Seth said, "I'll fight you in anything. I'll fight you in a first blood match, ladder match, whatever you want." And the main event ended up being set for Bloodline Rules. It was Seth Rollins versus Solo Sikoa in a Bloodline Rules match, and that was set for the main event of Monday Night Raw. What did you think of this opening segment?
I like the opening segment. I thought it set up for a basically bloodline centric episode of Monday Night Raw, where it was basically just like the bloodline. I like episodes like these where it's like the story is flowing throughout the show. So it's like you start off with the bloodline, then after the first segment or the first match or whatever, I think it was before or after the first match, we saw them basically Roman leaving, and then shit. So I love shit like that. I love the Rock's cadence and the way the shit he just says, the way he doesn't really care. Yo, did you see the post show Ibu when he was walking back there, and he's like, and they ask him, Rock, can you say something real quick? And he goes,
Fuck them.
fuck them,
Just
fuck
fuck
them.
them.
What a beast! So
That was
I
so
love
beast.
Roman's promo was alright. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't. The promo that he cut at the end of the show was way better.
So my thought at the time of this, because people were like, "Are you guys satisfied with what Roman Reigns did this week?" And my opinion was basically this was solid, but he needs to do something physical at the end of the show. Like this isn't enough, and
Yeah.
so they ended up doing that. So that's good. But yeah. That was the opening segment. I thought it was good. I thought that look, it was just big stars in a hot atmosphere. To be honest with you, like nothing super new novel was said. It was basically WWE luxuriating in how over this top storyline is. To be honest with you, they're just kind of standing there, letting the crowd just go nuts for everybody involved. More power to them. Michael Cole established after this that Cody Rhodes is not medically cleared to be at Raw, and so that he wasn't here tonight. And he also made mention that he will be available and here at WrestleMania. So that was Cole's word on that. After this segment, we got clips of Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch's confrontation on the MMA Hour. I don't know if you've seen a full angle of that, Rob. They edited it in a way that was respectable, but the full version of that angle on MMA Hour was really shitty. Like I just thought it just wasn't done very well.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah. Becky Lynch had a backstage promo. She said she was here tonight to finish what she started, and she would be in the ring later if Rhea wanted to answer the call. And then we turned to Judgment Day versus DIY and the New Day in an 8-man tag. This match was basically just a back and forth. Ciampa got a hot tag, and he was doing some good stuff, doing a good comeback on JD McDonough and Dominic. And ultimately, Kofi Kingston got some big cheers for his hot tag. Johnny Gargano almost freaking decapitated himself on a tope suicida to the announce table on the outside. And then this thing really wrapped up when Ciampa was in there strong at the end of the match, and Damian Priest got him with a lariat, and he won with a razor's edge. I thought it was a good 8-man tag and a solid preview for the ladder match on Saturday. What do you think of this, Rob?
I liked this match. It like you said, it was a solid preview for the fucking 6-man, fucking big six tag fucking team cluster. It's hard to say, like it's hard to fucking say, but it's a six tag team 6-pack challenge. Holy shit!
Yep.
But yeah, it was big for that match this weekend. I would, I get the Judgment Day can't really lose going into Mania, but I wouldn't have had them pin like DIY. You know what I'm saying? I would have had them like pin somebody from the New Day. Because like the New Day is more established and they can just, I'm not saying they can be pin eaters, but they're like bulletproof to the point where they can lose every now and then. So
maybe this is booked this way because DIY are winning those tag titles.
But I would think that if R-Truth and the Miz weren't in there and they weren't getting the biggest reactions on the show weekly. So,
I will say they've greatly de-emphasized the Awesome Truth on the TV in the last month and a half. And I think it's to the benefit of the Judgment Day. Because you remember, Rob, we were on these reviews and we were like, bro, what is going on, dude?
Yo, Judgment Day was like, they were like, yo, Damian Priest kept him around because he thought it was funny. And then he was like, okay, now get the fuck away from us. And
bro,
it was over.
It was getting bad, dude. Like, Judgment Day were turning into a joke. It was way too much of the focus on the show. It just wasn't serious. It was like, man, this is WrestleMania season. What are we doing? My goodness, that was a tough time when it comes to trying to take Judgment Day seriously. Like it was way too much, and they've definitely noticed this and scaled back dramatically. And I think it's to the benefit of Judgment Day's presentation and the show as a whole, because a light comedy act like that being a small piece of the show is fine. I don't have a problem with that. But they were a focal point. We were getting major focused singles matches for the Miz on TV, focused singles matches for R-Truth. It was way too
It was
much.
getting to the point where these two were getting cheered more than the baby faces that we're actually supposed to be cheering for, that are like, we're cheering. I'm hearing them cheer fucking for Awesome Truth when they were cheering for Chad Gable.
Yeah, it was just too much. So I do want to make mention of that, because like I've noticed that they've 100% scaled back on it, and it's the right call because it was getting excessive. But the ladder match will happen this Saturday, and we'll see what ends up happening there. Backstage, The Rock was with the Bloodline. They agreed that Solo was ready. Roman Reigns said, "You know what? I'm out of here." Rock said, "Cool. What are you gonna do?" Roman said, "Well, I got to write the speech." And Paul Heyman said, if you're like just listening in, Roman Reigns will be inducting me into the Hall of Fame. So Roman Reigns will be giving the speech.
Oh no, CM Punk! No, CM Punk! Oh.
That speech is going to be so total kayfabe. But yeah, Roman Reigns will be inducting Paul Heyman to the WWE Hall of Fame this Friday, at 10 p.m. on Peacock. So there you go with that. Uh, we got a backstage thing with Chad Gable and Sammy. This was basically like Rocky 3, because essentially Sami Zayn was training with Chad Gable in the Performance Center, and they're going back and forth and they're grappling and they're like trying to figure stuff out. And Sami Zayn just doesn't seem like his heart is into any of this, and he's being choked and all this other stuff. And he was in a sleeper hold with Chad Gable, and he's like, what the hell, man? What's that all about? And they had this big dramatic moment. Sammy said, Chad Gable told him to run the drill again. Sammy said he's not running it again. And he said, "What are you doing to me?" He said, "What are you doing? Running me to death the week before WrestleMania?" And he said, "Do you think I'm not good enough?" And they were screaming at each other. And Sammy told him he was afraid. He admitted he's afraid. He said he's afraid of letting down the fans. And seeing the look of disappointment on his wife's face, seeing the tears stream down his son's face. He said nobody understood. And Chad said, "I understand better than anyone." Sammy said, "You told me I couldn't beat Gunther." And Chad said, "I wasn't telling you what you wanted to hear. I was telling you what you needed to hear. You're at your best when you're an underdog. Let's do this again. Let's beat Gunther together." And so Sammy went back to training. Chad ran him into the grounds, but Sammy fought and clawed and survived. And they hugged afterwards. Um, I thought this was good. I thought this was good overall. This was like NXT adjacent, like this type of like pre-tape situation with like music in the background, but partially because I really like the people involved, but also because like it wasn't as corny as it could have been. I thought this was generally like a solid pre-tape. So yeah, right now Chad Gable is Sammy's trainer as of right now. And I don't know. I don't know if it's just me. I feel like it's so heavy-handed that it just really feels like Chad's just gonna nail this guy.
I could not. I'm just not interested in seeing like Chad Gable being a coach. Like, I know his whole gimmick, he's supposed to be the coach of the Alpha Academy. I get that. But I'm not like, this story. I know I say it every week, but I'm like, this story was supposed to be Chad Gable getting revenge. So Chad Gable just don't give a fuck about his daughter crying no more.
Well, he
Is that
mentioned
it?
he did mention that.
Yeah, but it's just like, why are you content? Is anybody ever gonna bring up the fact that his shoulders weren't down? Or are we just gonna kayfabe and act like they were down? They were never down.
Now,
They had a perfect. They had a
what,
perfect
what if
out.
what if Chad cites that? What if Chad cites that when he eventually turns on Sami Zayn? Here's the
Sounds
thing.
bad.
Here's the thing. He can easily, if he does turn, right, he could easily literally say, "Brother, the only person that's beating Gunther is me. It's not you." Or you have that option. The other thing you do is just simply they do the friendship thing, and Chad just shakes Sammy's hand after Sammy maybe wins the Intercontinental Championship, and he's like, "Hey, let's have our fight as friends or something." You could do that too. And I'm just conflicted about the setup here because either A, Chad is a cuck and he just coaches Sammy to victory while at the expense of himself, or B, he turns on him, which I mean, that could work. That could be very good. The only problem with that is I just think Chad's a natural babyface. I like Chad as a babyface. And so Chad Gable as a heel or as a tweener, I don't know. I want to cheer him. But what I will say about that is he may have more upward mobility on WWE's roster and TV show as a heel because they have more super over baby faces than they have like viable heels on the roster. And perhaps heel Chad Gable will allow him to do more on the show and do more on the card and be used to fight other top guys. So that's yet to be determined. We shall see what ends up happening there. Um, Backstage Judgment Day were there. Legado del Fantasma showed up in their locker room, and Rio was furious, saying Dom never told them they had company. Priest pulled him aside and said they gave him their blessing to take care of his father at WrestleMania, but this was too much. He stormed off to make a call. Dominic asked Rhea to talk to Priest and tell him to not get so mad. She said fine, but they needed to work on his communication. And so she was pissed off, and Dom then asked Legado to play darts with him. So, yeah, Dominic is associated with Legado. He's friends with them, and it's making other members of his team a bit uncomfortable. So we'll see what this is ultimately leading to. But the very next thing on the show was Sami Zayn in a rematch against Bronson Reed. Last week, Bronson Reed beat Sami Zayn, and that's what led Sami Zayn to accepting the tutelage of Chad Gable. And so now we have a chance. We have a chance for Sami to redeem the match. And I'll say this, work-wise, this was way better than the first one. Actually, I had to go back and rewatch this to pay better attention. And I thought work-wise, this was much better. And it was just a good back-and-forth match. But right when it looked like Sami was going to finally get that win on Bronson Reed and hit the Helluva Kick, he was distracted because on the stage, Rob, Gunther was dragging Chad Gable's unconscious body out of the entranceway.
Oh my god, I wish they had like a picture of him dragging this nigga, but they don't.
Yeah, and so then Chad had to run out. Sami had to run out and save his friend here. And he got his ass whooped by Gunther as a result of it. Gunther beat the absolute shit out of Sami Zayn on the Raw stage. And the crowd is chanting for Sami. Gunther's holding his belt up. He's talking his trash. And right as he's walking away, Sami's like, his body's twitching. He's like kind of shaking, shimmying and shaking himself. And he pulls himself up. And Sami wills himself back into position. And he's standing. He's staggering, but he's standing. And he's urging Gunther to come back and hit him again. And Gunther ultimately gets him with a couple chops and a big boot and some forearms. And that was the segment. And I'll tell you what, that physicality between Sami and Gunther there, I think that's a hint for what the.
Oh no, you missed it. No, you missed it. He stood up and he staggered, and then he was like, "All right, bet," and then just smacked him in the fucking face with the belt.
That's what he hit him with. Yeah, and this felt like a preview of what that match is going to be. It's going to be a lot of Sami Zayn showing a lot of fight, showing a lot of heart, and Gunther just destroying him. So it is going to be an excellent match, and I'm looking forward to that one. I thought Gunther looked good here. Jay Uso was backstage with Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne's going to be at WrestleMania, and he'll be there with his new single. So we're getting a new Wheezy single at WrestleMania.
Yeah, it's so back.
Yep. Indian Candice versus Maxine and Ivy Nile. The big thing here was that Candice LeRae got into an argument with Indy Hartwell, and Maxine dropkicked Indy into Candice and then rolled Indy up for the pin. And Indy and Candice Candice was yelling at Indy afterwards. The whole thing here is Candice is turning heel and she's been cheating and she's trying to get Indy to be on the same type of page with her. And Indy, as of right now, is like the pure babyface who doesn't want to do that. And so because they're not on the same page, they lost. And this was Maxine's a big win here with Ivy Nile. And that was that. It's got 4 or 5 minutes. It felt like it was 15. When it was airing live, I was just kind of like, can we move on? Like, I know people are stopwatchers, and I know people do the whole thing of total cumulative amount of in-ring time like the women get. And I am pro women getting time. But when it comes to this match in particular, I just didn't care. And so when it didn't end immediately, I was just like, oh my God, bro, can we just move on? So that was just kind of my 2 cents.
That ass. They're not on Mania. It's go home show.
Yeah, I want to see the big angles for WrestleMania. Can we just get to the next thing? So that was my thing on that. Backstage, Jay met with Seth. Jay said Seth was crazy, but it was bloodline rules tonight. Anything goes, but if they try anything, I'll have your back tonight. Seth asked him to take a walk, and so Yeah, Seth and Jay were basically like scheming and plotting on how to deal with the bloodline in the main event. So they're not dumb baby faces who are going to be oblivious about run-ins. They know the bloodline are coming out and they're game planning for how to attack this. After this, my God, Rob, we got a video package for Drew McIntyre at a funeral home. And
Yeah.
he's standing over this casket and he's like,
I gotta
look
find a
into,
picture.
he said, look into my eyes. What do you see? And he was just like, CM Punk will not wrestle in Philly or something like that. Drew said that CM Punk's brittle, fragile body failed him worse than it did in the UFC. His triceps, like the rest of us, wanted to get as far away from him as possible. Now we have got this thin-skinned guy who saw Jared Leto as the Joker and built his entire personality off him. Seth, cringe lord Rollins. He said, you're broken. You have one foot in the grave, and you think you'll survive Rock and Roman and then beat me? You deserve all the pain and misery because you begged me for it. You deserve to have the casket closed on your reign. I'll take that broken down old workhorse out back and put him down once and for all. What can you say, Rob, about Drew McIntyre at this point? I mean, it's like we've given him all the superlatives in the world. He has been on the run of his life, you know?
Bro, he is doing some of the best work of his entire career right now in terms
Absolutely.
of like his presentation and the way he's just a troll. But the thing is, he's not like the regular troll that just doesn't do anything in real life. He's a troll like 90% of the fucking IWC. Like there's some
Yep.
that are really, but like others but Drew McIntyre as a troll is just so funny because look at him. Let me zoom in. Look at him. He's at this funeral parlor just talking his shit. So I'm very excited to see if Drew can actually do it this Sunday. But
He
we'll
has.
see.
He
Yeah, like
absolutely
he
has to.
basically has. He can't lose and come out of this losing unless he's leaving, which I don't feel like he's leaving.
Drew McIntyre has to win the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. Full stop. No excuses. That's what needs to be the finish on that. So we'll see what ends up happening there. I'm pretty confident he's going over, and that match is going to be on night two. And there's some chatter that that's the opener of night two, which that's an explosive opener if that's the case. That means both nights will have, because there's also chatter, Rob, that Becky and Rhea is opening night one, which if true, So
Yeah, that
uh,
could be.
that's two really explosive openers for both nights. So we'll see what ends up happening there. What ended up happening after Drew McIntyre's vignette, Rob, was whew, we had Ivar and Ricochet. And man, Ivar is like he's just this big guy that they bring out there for these like 10-minute TV matches.
Yep.
And he just doesn't miss. And he's going against a Ricochet who to this point had won 3 straight singles matches, and in all those matches he showed just how dynamic and awesome he is. And man, no different this week. And the cool thing about Ricochet and how creative and just versatile he is, it's not the same stuff he's impressing you with every week. Like one week he'll do a Death Valley driver on the apron, another week he's gonna do like a Fosbury flop, another week he's
Yeah.
gonna do a shooting star press, and this week he does a Sasuke special to the
Bro.
outside. He does a goddamn Sasuke special, and then he gets in the
Bro.
ring and he does a 630 splash.
Bro. Fuck all you marks that tried to make Ricochet seem like he wasn't good because he can't talk. I know we say this weekly every time Ricochet wrestles, but I don't care. We don't care about talking sometimes, bro. Especially with a nigga like Ricochet. We don't care about talking. We just want to see him flip. Dude, he's doing his thing.
When
And
you're in the middle, when
you
you're
see
an
how
hour,
over he is? This is exactly how over he's as over as he was when he first came to the main roster and he beat Joe for the US title.
brother, this guy deadlifted Ivar, deadlifted this big motherfucker, and does like a jumping fall away slam. And I was like, my goodness. My goodness. And also, of course, kudos to Ivar. He does a double underhook sit out tiger driver. He did a springboard high cross body at his size, which was unbelievable. And again, that follow-away slam into the 630, just gorgeous. Ricochet is an awesome professional wrestler.
Yeah.
It's like Triple H woke up one day. Do you remember, Rob, when we were doing these Raw reviews in like January and February, and we were like, bro, where is Ricochet?
Bro, it was crazy. It was like Ricochet, they were fucking doing Miz singles every week, and I was like, yo, like okay, around the Gunther match, it was fine because the Gunther match was all right. Like it was cool, I guess.
Yeah.
But like,
Brother,
it's like we're getting around Royal Rumble time, and it's like, all right, where's Ricochet?
brother, it was January, and we had no Gunther on the show because he was on hiatus. We had no Chad Gable. We had no Ricochet, and we had like, it felt like Awesome Truth were the main characters of the show.
Bro,
It was,
Ivar versus Miz every week.
brother, I was like, what's going on here? Can we see the Hoopers hoop? And you know what happened in the last month, Rob? They have unleashed Trevor Mann. They said, go out there every week, have your 9 to 12-minute wrestling match, and go nuts. And he's doing it every week. And like I said, he's not doing the same stuff every week. He's switching it up. He's giving you a Tiger Driver one week. He's giving you a Fosbury flop, a tope, a Sasuke special, a 630, a shooting star press, a springboard cross body, the recoil, a lion salt, which is better than any of Jericho's lion salts ever, by the way. He is spectacular. This guy is sensational. And right now, Rob, he's on the longest sustained winning streak of his main roster career. And it's perfect. It's perfect because this white hot Ricochet is now on a collision course with El Idolo.
Yeah. Night 2.
Because Andrade was backstage and Dominic was talking about the Ricochet problem. And JD McDonough has been tasked with handling Ricochet at the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And Dominic told JD, if you can't take care of Ricochet in that Battle Royal, I've enlisted the services of somebody that will. And we pointed to Andrade, and Andrade was told, if you can beat Ricochet, you are in the Judgment Day. And Damian Priest looked very, very upset at this development. I don't know where this is going. I don't know what this is leading to. All I know is two things. Number one, Andrade versus Ricochet is going to be fucking tremendous. Number two, I want Andrade to win the Money in the Bank briefcase. And number three, they need to put this at WrestleMania. Fuck the Raw at WrestleMania. Put this on night 2. Give them 15 minutes. Let them go insane.
So you say you don't want them to be at night 2, or
no? I said I want them on night 2. I want them.
Okay, I heard it backwards. But yeah, bro, they need to be on night 2. They definitely need to be on night 2 because at this stage in the game, when was the last time Ricochet had a WrestleMania match? Before last year.
Before last year, he missed 2022. He missed 2021. 2020, he may have been.
He was not at 2020.
Then it would have been his first main roster one. It would have been 2019.
He's only Ricochet. Ricochet has only been on WrestleMania 2 times in the. He's been here since 2018. He's been here 6 years. He's only done 2 WrestleManias. What are we doing?
Yeah, they gotta add that. I don't care. On that SmackDown episode, after they do that Battle Royal, that Battle Royal finish needs to play into an Andrade Ricochet match, and they need to shoot an angle and book that match for WrestleMania. So we'll see what they end up doing, but hopefully that's what they do. Following this, Becky Lynch came out for a promo, and essentially here she called out a fight with Rhea Ripley, and they had a big schmoz where it was a big pull-apart brawl. They fought through it. They fought through security. Adam Pearce was like screaming crazy for Rhea Ripley to stop. He was like, no, save it for WrestleMania, not tonight. And so they're doing that. They're trying to fight through each other. The crowd is chanting, let them fight. It's a typical pull-apart brawl. Becky Lynch does a cross-body kind of splash to the outside on a pile of security members. And we went to commercial, and when we came back from commercial, they were fighting like in the tunnel, leading to the ring backstage.
Fucking fire.
So that was pretty good. And then that was kind of the physicality for Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley. So another solid fight angle there. I will say, because Joe Holbert mentioned this, I believe on like the Late Night Grin. I wish this build had more of a sports style presentation. Like this physicality stuff is good, but in the lead up to this, it was a lot of like Becky side missions.
We're talking about my daughter.
No, but like there's a lot of side missions with Liv Morgan and Nia Jax, and like those are fine. And I actually think it was the right call to have Becky beat Nia en route to fighting Rhea. However, I do think it would have been cool to just have more like personal,
Yeah.
realistic, like vignettes about this. Because I feel like their dynamic would fit that. Remember the Prime Target thing that Mello and Trick had last week?
Yep.
A Prime Target for Rhea and Becky would have been very fitting.
Triple H, Triple H should, because Triple H started the Prime Target shit.
Yes.
He did that on NXT on
Yeah.
the network. The go home shows wouldn't really be. They would have like 2 wrestling matches and a bunch of Prime Targets. Just bring that back for the go home shows. You could put some wrestling showcases on like this one for Ricochet going into Friday and hopefully going into Sunday. But like, let's. Hey man, we're doing our thing.
Yep. Speaking of doing their thing, Damage Control, who are on a nice little roll right now.
Yes.
We're backstage cutting a promo, and Dakota Kai said that they were the most dominant women's faction ever. They're the future, but since they're here, they wanted to know if anyone was willing to try to take them out. And this segued into Shayna Baszler, Tegan Knox, and Zoe Stark versus Damage Control. The babyfaces didn't get an entrance, but they got a lot of offense in this match. There was a triple German suplex spot and some back and forth action. Zoe Stark in particular looked very sharp here. I noticed, Rob.
Yeah.
Like it's interesting because Triple H believed in her, and she got the big push initially. She was with Trish Stratus. She had a ton of matches on TV with Becky Lynch. She won a multi-person match at Saudi, I want to say, and she didn't. I'm sorry, but she didn't win a multi.
She did well in it.
She did, yeah. She was positioned really strong in the match, and then she ended up winning a battle royal to qualify to become the #1 contender against Rhea at Survivor Series. And then they gave her the match at Survivor Series. So they were really trying to connect with Zoe Stark. They believed in her, and she didn't quite connect, and she didn't quite work out the best. But I do think that their interest in her as a top level wrestler, like I don't think it was completely unfounded. I do think something's there. And what I've noticed is she's been de-emphasized and scaled back, right? And now that she's kind of become a bench player, it's almost like it's motivated her because now she almost has a chip on her shoulder. I'm watching this match, and she's doing these springboard drop kicks and like just snap suplexes, and she's just like working really, really hard in there. And I feel like it's because she doesn't want to be typecasted into this role permanently. I think she wants to get herself right back in the mix as a contender. And
she's like, I was at fucking Survivor Series, one of the biggest fucking drawing pay-per-views of last year, and my match sucked. So I gotta get better, bro.
right. Yeah. So so we'll see what ends up happening there. But
She could transition into a gimmick where it's not really, guys. I'm talking about the gimmick here. I'm prefacing, but like, she's not as good as him either. But like a no gimmicks needed kind of like a Benoit, kind of like a Dean Malenko type of role where she's a really, her gimmick. There's a lot of really good wrestlers, but her gimmick is she's a really good wrestler and she talks it and backs it up. If only she had the charisma of Benny. So, but yeah, it's very unfortunate. Very unfortunate that she's just not really good at that. So,
Yep. Seth Rollins was backstage. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even finish the recap. The Damage Control got the win here, and I actually thought this was like pretty decent. The early like Kabuki Warrior tags on Raw were very nothing, but the work is starting to come together a bit more here. So yeah, they got the win here. Decent match. Seth Rollins was backstage getting interviewed by Kathy Kelly, and his interview was happening as he's walking to the ring, which is a cool little wrinkle. But Seth Rollins says he only had one gear: pedal to the metal, empty the tank, and he always has a plan B. And he ran into Drew McIntyre, and he had a stare down. And Seth said, "I wasn't dead yet. Or I'm not dead yet." And Drew McIntyre he said yet. So Seth Rollins came out and he had a Bloodline Rules match with Solo Sikoa, and the crowd chanted, "We want tables" immediately. And back and forth action. This built to 2 big table spots. The first one was a Samoan drop by Solo Sikoa off the top rope through a table on Seth Rollins. And so Seth took that. And ultimately, when we came back from commercial break, Seth does a sunset flip power bomb to Solo Sikoa through a table. The crowd goes nuts for that. Seth sets up and lines up for the curb stomp, and he gets it. But he's cut off by Jimmy Uso, who comes out, and Jey Uso comes out to fight Jimmy Uso. And then that's when The Rock shows up. The Rock throws Jimmy. Sorry, no. The Rock throws Jay from the entranceway, and he
Yo, that
emerges.
fucking clip is so funny.
Jay is flying out of the entranceway.
Yo, are they like not allowed to take pictures of The Rock or something? Because I can't find any pictures of Dwayne on here.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I don't know, but yeah. So Rock is walking his way to the ring, and he's beating on Seth. He's coming up on Seth Rollins, right? Seth is on his ass, and he's looking up at him. He has like a scar on his face, and the crowd is like, Cody, 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 and Seth Rollins. This is a great moment. He just has a smile on his face because clearly this was his plan B. Cody Rhodes emerges. He has a big bandage on his forehead, and he's running out there looking like freaking. They gave him the Stone Cold Steve Austin like moment where he's coming out at the end of the show as the big savior, and he runs out there and he's fighting with the Rock, and him and Seth are double teaming the Rock, and they're banging his head on the table. Cody's about to give Rock a freaking rock bottom through the announce table. It's explosive, it's hot, it's exciting, and it looks like he's about to do it on Dwayne. They're definitely saving that spot for WrestleMania, by the way. But he's about to do it on Dwayne. And so, boom, out of nowhere, Roman Reigns, who we thought left the building, is in the building. And he starts beating up on Cody Rhodes. We're getting this is the first ever physical angle between Roman and Cody. They've never gotten physical in any on-screen angle. So we finally get it here. He's beating up on Cody, throwing him around the place, gets him back in the ring, and then, bam, rams into him and does like a super just tough and stiff spears him and gets him and yeah, he gives him a huge spear here, and what's it called? Cody Rhodes is kind of like wallowing in pain, and that's when The Rock takes his belt out. He gets out a belt.
You seen this?
Rock was doing his flopping like a fish selling. I didn't even notice it. That's
Yo, he was selling like he used to during the Attitude Era for Cody. When he was hitting him, he was like, oh, all over the place. So that was fire.
Absolutely. Rock he proceeds to whip the absolute crap out of Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, back and forth, just. And as he's doing that, Roman Reigns is standing by the apron, just talking shit. And I thought this was good. Like, Roman was in his bag here, just kind of talking his shit, talking cash shit about how this is what happens. And in the backdrop is Rock just absolutely beating the crap out of them. So yeah, he's whipping them, and what's it called? Roman Reigns gets up in the ring, and he's standing over them, and the show ends with a closing shot of Roman Reigns holding up his championship and The Rock holding up the belt. I thought this was a great go-home angle, a great beatdown. I'm glad they did this because Roman Reigns needed a strong physical angle to position himself well, and I thought that's what they delivered on here. So this was just what you needed to do on a go-home Raw, and so very good angle to close what I thought was a good episode of TV. And I'm pretty locked and loaded for WrestleMania. And again, I hope they add that Andrade Ricochet match, but a productive episode in my opinion.
Yeah, it was very productive. It got the point across of what we're supposed to expect come WrestleMania. It showed us basically what the key matches are. Showed us some of what to expect after WrestleMania with Ricochet going so crazy and Candice LeRae continuing this heel thing with Indy Hartwell, because we know that's going to get some decent amount of time after WrestleMania, considering Triple H is listening to the fucking time watches now. So.
Yep.
Yeah, it basically a great go home show to lead us into WrestleMania for Monday Night Raw.
For sure. So, guys, with that said, get your last couple super chats in. We'll read these out before we close tonight's episode of Raw. Give us your opinions. Give us your takes. We have a little bit of time here. We got like another 10 minutes or so, I think. So give us your opinions. We'll really spend time in your super chats, and we'll kind of break down your stuff. If you have any questions you'd like to ask me, feel free to ask me, and we'll get into all of that.
All right, let's get into the first of the final super chats. Glizzy King, 199. By the way, I would still dunk on Ibu. He's just too little.
Glizzy King, you would not be able to dunk on me.
Yo, I was about to say, yo, I was about to tell you, Glizzy King, you might have to spell it out for Ibu after Sunday, because Sunday was crazy. That nigga said you can't fuck on. I was like, yo, what? What is this nigga talking about? Corey David, $2. Ibu, you said Punk is involved with the Trick and Mellow stuff.
So here's the thing: Punk is around the NXT Performance Center pretty regularly. Two of his favorite people that he's kind of, I don't want to say taken under his wings, just people that he's fond of and he talks to a lot and consults is Trick and Mello. But regarding the Trick and Mello stuff, what I meant was he was in the production room when they were putting together the Prime Target thing, and so a lot of his like personal input was given on like the direction of what that should be. And it's also the reason why his voice was in it a lot. I don't know if you noticed that he was in it like on like two of the parts where he's just kind of narrating the thing and talking about it. So yeah, it was directed by Jeremy Borash. I do want to correct the person that directed the Prime Target. But Punk's been sitting in the production room. He's been contributing his input to those types of things. He's not like, I'm not saying he's like yet a producer on NXT or anything like that. Like that's his goal. But yeah, when it comes to the Trick and Mellow stuff, his fingerprints are on it. Yeah, the Prime Target feature specifically.
All right. Duce Rhodes, $4.99. No Bully Ray for Heyman's induction. Good. Let that man rot on the indies. In other news, Liv or Nia not getting a match for Mania is kind of sad.
It's not that sad.
I want to say like it's not.
It's not that sad.
We not crying, buddy. We're not crying. Maybe at that fucking Philly cheesesteak eating contest or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You could do a little match beforehand for them, but no. We got plans. Hush 199. Wrestling Machine heel Gable would rule. Actually, it's not wrong. It's not wrong. If he goes full 06 angle, remember when he went to ECW?
Bro,
He was just killing everybody.
Bro, Wrestling Machine Chad Gable that's just kind of like desperate to just get what he feels like he deserves would be amazing.
That ass, bro. Like him just walking out every week. Because he got to be, and he has to do exactly what Angle did with his presentation.
Chad started wearing a mouthpiece.
Bro, he just he fucking starts wearing a mouthpiece. He starts walking up to people, rabidly fucking just
Yeah.
He's in that fucking video with Randy Orton. He's and Randy Orton's like, "Yo, are you high, bro? Yo, bro." Like he was like, "My bad, bro. You can have the world title."
If Chad turns, but he's like presented like an absolute pit bull that dominates people, he's gonna stay babyface because they're gonna cheer him like that.
That ass, like they're gonna, the fans are gonna. Oh my god!
You man just Suplex City Gable, bro, just going crazy. Presented like freaking.
They're gonna turn his suplexes into Suplex City. 100%.
Oh man.
100%. Hush 199 as a face, he's capped because of the thank yous and Alpha Academy.
I will say, and we've already noticed it. He's been transitioning into a more serious Chad Gable, and I think it's been appropriate because he kind of outgrew the whole like thank you and that and the shoosh. He doesn't. If you notice, he doesn't do shoosh anymore, and it's partially because that was an undercard thing that he was doing, and again, he's just past that now. It's why Tozawa is the one that tags with Otis. It's why he's a singles wrestler. It's why he's getting more serious because he's now pursuing singles championships. And I think it's the right move, and I think that transition is going to continue after WrestleMania.
Oh, absolutely. I think Gable's extraordinary at things that he does, like the way he got Shoosh over during the Vince McMahon era was really, really good. So I'm excited to see what they do with him after Mania. Jumanji Hunter, $2. Crazy how Roman fans attacked you over his doc.
Yeah, I didn't get it. People thought that was like an attack on his career or like the life that he's lived or his experiences.
It was.
I just thought the documentary was okay, and it was a paint by numbers documentary. It was a paint by numbers documentary that was also done in semi kayfabe, dude. Like he's in character, and like it was basically just like it's just like a like I don't know, like
people capped out because I watched it, and then they did explain some of the blood. They didn't go into detail like Ibu wanted to, but they explained like they were like, yeah, I just wanted to take everybody on this ride. So
Bro, that's very cursory and surface level. It's very generic. It's very much like Roman and Cody, like, that's why I had to get the family in to show you all what this is all about. And it's like it's just Roman in character, kind of like kissing his own ass. Like again, if you like the bloodline and you want bloodline content, like it's gonna be good viewing for you. You're gonna enjoy it. But I don't know. I just wanted something a bit more substantive and interesting. And I just didn't learn anything from it. And when we
you're
got to
very angry. It sounds like
I'm not angry. Whatever. People are gonna be mad at me about it, but I didn't think I said anything that
just
crazy.
seething with anger, just fuming. And I understand, bro. Cody's documentary, it was average.
That was,
It
that
got a,
was
it got a 4 out
that
of
one was
10.
good.
It got a 3.2 out of 10 on IMDb. This was pretty bad. Corey David, $10. Ibu, y'all think Roosh feeling some type of way with Dragon Lee at WrestleMania? He posted something alluding to his brother being more successful, and now Jose is gone. What's the future of LFI?
I don't know what the future of LFI is. Do I think Roosh feels some type of way? I don't know, man. He's very mercurial, man. He's very up and down when it comes to these types of things. And all I know is that he re-signed last year. So if he starts to kind of play a game where he's upset, he's not going to be able to get out of his deal. So I'm not sure what's going to end up happening there, but he's not put in a position where he's going to be taken out of his comfort zone. Jose was in LFI because he likes Jose. He just likes traveling with Jose. So
Yeah,
Jose
because
not being,
Jose's,
that's his man's. So he's not going to be with his guy now. He's not going to be in his comfort zone. Um,
he still got Perro Peligroso, big Preston Vance.
that faction low key sucks. Like
I told niggas, bro, I was like, yo, LFI, sometimes they be looking tough, but like Preston Vance.
no, you know what
Oh,
it is?
brother.
They have aura and great presentation, but when you look at the unit, it's Roosh, Jose, Preston Vance, and Jalistico. There's
Jalistico's good. I like Jalistico.
He's okay. There's like there's literally one wrestler in that unit that's like very good or better, and that's Roosh. He's really great when he's locked in. So I don't know, man. It feels like he's in all these various incarnations of Los Ingobernables, and they're getting weaker and weaker units. Now it's like these guys, and
I think it
I don't,
fell apart. I think it started to fall apart when Andrade came back, and he just didn't want anything to do with them,
I want
or
it.
they didn't want him to do anything with the
Yeah,
faction.
they didn't do more. They didn't do more with Andrade and Roosh, and I really wanted them to. Hopefully, when Bandito comes back, maybe
Yo, do you remember those those video packages where it was the fucking Rouge brought them into put hoods on their heads
Yep.
and made them fight the fucking cartel, and
Yeah, they did like a month.
the
They did a month of vignettes for LFI, and and now they're like firing dudes from the group. So I don't know. I don't know what the plan is. All I know is that
he's gonna show up with. I strongly believe that he might show up with Andrade next week because they've been saying that the people have been alluding to on Twitter that the releases have no compete clauses.
yeah, there's no complete. There's they don't have any
No
no.
non-competes. So
Yeah.
he could show up with Andrade next week if you really wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for the super chat. The Black Yakuzu 94. Roman whooping Cody felt extremely personal, to be honest. Hey man. Nah, the Seth ones were like, yo, he was putting some fire on them Seth ones.
Maybe you know what I will say.
What's up?
Roman Reigns was concerningly happy on Raw.
Oh my god, whenever Roman's like winning,
When
you
Roman's
can see
winning, he's
his
like great
face.
put on TV,
He's like,
and bro,
y'all see the veneers and shit. Y'all see you fucking.
in weeks prior, Roman looked like he just wanted to be anywhere else but on TV, and now he's acting like, hey man, his energy yesterday almost came off like they just told him he won, and he's like he's winning, and he's like let's go.
He's like,
So yeah,
yeah.
we shall see.
All right. Thank you for the super chat, Corey David. $5. Y'all expect more cuts from AEW, or is this for more free agents?
Yes, I do. I don't know when it happens. I don't know. They may stagger it off and spread it out, but and I don't think this is the end of them.
I don't think it should be people that are like just sitting around doing nothing. I think because that's like bad PR. I think it should be the people that want to leave. I think I know Malachi Black is advertised for Dynasty, and because he's going to be in in the match with Mark Briscoe and them and Eddie
Oh,
Kingston.
shit, I forgot about that.
Yeah, but if that's the case, if that's a guy you want to write him off, and if you want to cut him after fucking Dynasty, then you write him off at the fucking pay per view or after the pay per view, and you just cut him. He doesn't want to be there. He's an active detriment to the product. That gravity match was horrible, and Brian Keith almost broke his back trying to carry him 2 weeks ago. They already let Andrade go. I don't know what Miro's deal is. It seems like he doesn't want to leave, but at the same time, it seems like he doesn't want to be there. But yeah, you just let Bud Matt go.
His thing is, and I think Miro's really talented. I'm a fan of his as a wrestler, but his thing appears to be that he's just not super cooperative when it comes to creative. Like he's very picky about
lose.
He's picky about his creative, and he's not very fond of jobbing.
Yeah, I love Miro, bro. Like I loved Rusev Day. That was like my thing. And then I loved Miro when he was doing for God. God's favorite champion was 3 years ago, my boy. It was 3 years ago, and we remember it. It was cool, but it's 3 years later, bro. It's, if you want to do that thing all over again, fine. But you got to lose sometimes. Didn't he lose to fucking Manny before he left her? No. Or did he win?
I think he beat Andrade actually.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure he beat him. Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, bro. World's End was so bad. Corey David, $2. Ibu, your thoughts on the Punk interview?
I thought it was very compelling and engaging. I thought Ariel Helwani was like a shark in there because his goal is to get information out of CM Punk. And so he's going to continue to press until Punk gives him what he wants. And when Punk started to open up, you could see him just kind of like he was locked in. Like he was like LeBron in Boston in 2012. He was like, he's spilling. Let's go. So yeah, very compelling interview, very interesting. The opinions shared were not like shocking to me in any way. It's like what I expected Punk to feel about numerous things. And when it comes to those opinions expressed, I mean that your mileage will vary on certain things. I thought the workers, what's it called? The guaranteed money thing was stupid, of course. I thought his perspective on approaching wrestling when it comes to like being vague about like the inside stuff was interesting. When he's talking about like the mystique of Punk is that I don't want you to know exactly where I stand with people. I thought that was interesting. I thought that I liked this got drowned in stuff, but I do like his what he said about Vince McMahon. I thought that was good. I got kind of like it kind of hit me home when he was talking about Benoit and that whole situation. So that stuff was good. And regarding the AEW stuff, I mean, I'm just bored of that topic. So like it's not really much to discuss. But what he said about it is kind of what you'd expect him to say. If anything, I'm actually happy that he doesn't bury his whole time there because I do like his run in AEW. So I'm glad that he didn't just go, well, fuck AEW. I hated everything. Like he did say, I don't regret my time there and that the positives outweighed the negatives. But I mean, ultimately the situation shook out the way it shook out and he's out of there. And that's kind of my thing on that. Actually, one more thing. I will say this in a weird way. Like obviously Jack Perry was being a bit of he did what he did. He carried himself how he carried himself. And what I find interesting about the Jack Perry stuff is he is who CM Punk used to be. And this is like the cycle of life. Punk was that guy that talked back to the authority of the talent above him and puffed his chest out and tried to stand up for himself. Undertaker used to tell CM Punk, dress better, dress like a champion. And Punk would be like, go fuck yourself. And Jack Perry is now the young guy who, when Punk says certain things to him, he's puffing his chest out. And it's just funny, man. It's just a cycle of life. And
my opinion, my only sole opinion on that, and this is where I'm gonna keep it before we go to the next super chat. Is like, okay, but like when you did that, they took your title away, and how did you feel about that? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying Jack Perry had a right to be an asshole or like had. I mean, I'm of the opinion that CM Punk lies all the time, so I simply don't believe that Jack Perry was just walking around fuck you all day. I don't believe.
But here's what I can say about this, Rob. I heard from AEW about what Punk was recounting with the Jack Perry story. And what they said was that everything Phil said about how this all went down was completely true. But the problem from their end was that he is omitting one major aspect of the story. So they said, yes, he was yelling at Mike Mansory. He was yelling at Tony Schiavone. He was kind of like pitching a fit about this stuff. And yes, Punk did tell him, like, please just do this on Wednesdays and whatever. But what they told me was that Jack Perry was like, okay, like whatever, I'll no problem. They said that what set Jack off and what made him mad at Phil to the point where he said what he said at the All In was that they felt that Punk leaked this situation to the media because the media did not know that this happened, and they felt that when this came out through Nick Hausman and Fightful, they were like basically like in their mind they're like, oh, Phil leaked this, and Jack really really did not like that. He thought like, oh, why are you trying to embarrass me? And so when that got leaked, that's when he was like, yo, fuck this dude. I'm a dog him on TV. And so they felt that Punk omitted that aspect of it, and that's what they took objection to. So
CM Punk is a liar. Hangman was right. Hush 199. You think people who want out of AEW get released now?
I think some of
We just
them
touched
will
on that.
eventually. I do think some of them will be parted with eventually.
You should do it like Mania.
This is not a scoop though. This is my feeling on this.
You should do it like Mania during the people think it was bad during the 2010s. They're during like the mid 2000s. After every WrestleMania, they would get a group of niggas and that they didn't use anymore, didn't want to use, and just cut them. This is what you should do after Dynasty. Like I said, if Malachi doesn't want to be here anymore, he can go. Buddy doesn't want to be here anymore, he can go and join the Judgment Day and do whatever he got to do over there. Yeah, bro, just like the people who don't want to be here anymore, there's no point in them being anymore because all they do is drag down the product. So, except for Bud Matt when he wrestles, he's still very good. Corey David, $2. Ibu, how would you book Jade for the future?
I would have her tagging with Bianca in the springtime. I would try to put some importance on the women's tag belt since they, the women's tag division is. I mean, Damage Control is a better champion than the previous couple ones, but like it's still not like where it needs to be. I'd have her on screen with Jade Cargill. I would build to one of them turning on the other one for SummerSlam, and then from that I would catapult Jade Cargill. I'd have Jade beat Bianca at SummerSlam, and that could set Bianca back, and then it could set Bianca on a path where she has to kind of get back on a roll in the fall period to then get in position to win a belt at Mania. As for Jade, I'd position her strong, and I'd potentially explore giving her some type of major run. To be honest with you, I actually wouldn't be opposed, to be honest, of giving her a fairly brief, like I would say, like September to January title run of one of the belts. It depends on where things shake out with who's holding these championships, but I would just use her strong, and I would make her a featured character on the show. So
do the opposite, and this is not me shitting on AEW, but do the opposite of what they did with her. Like the whole time, she just if you're gonna have her do a winning streak in WWE, don't let it be jobbers. You can at first it can be jobbers, but like a month of jobbers, okay, cool, and then the rest of them should be like Zoe Starks and Shayna Baszler's and Raquel Gonzalez and all these other people. But don't let it be the whole time like it was an AEW jobbers. That's just gonna suck. And that's why she did not get better. So, don't let the matches be 2 fucking minutes. Hush 199. Santos, Andrade, and Dom would be a tough trio, not gonna lie.
Yes, it would.
Hey man. Hey, them niggas. I think it double charged him.
Hope not. Is that it?
Yeah, no, it's not it. But like they put his super channel here 3 times in a row. They get like triple charged him. Corey David, $2. Y'all see NXT picking up any good indie talent?
I think they should, but the question is who? Like who's on the indies that like?
There's like Leo Rush should definitely be picked up by NXT again or WWE again. Definitely.
WWE, yes. NXT, no.
I mean, yeah, but Isn't he like, how old is that nigga?
Leo, he's like 29.
Yeah, he could go to NXT. There's a bunch of 29-year-old. Duke Hudson's like 34.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess.
Or put him on Speed.
I guess.
I mean, he can be on the main roster. I'm not saying he can't, but like, I don't want him to come back to the main roster and get lost in the shuffle. Is all I'm saying. Like, I don't want him to get lost in all these big, because you know they're gonna have big show ups and big returns and big surprises on the Raw after Mania since Vince is completely gone. So
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want him to get mixed up in the shuffle. Is all I'm saying. But other
No,
than that, I really can't. I can't think of any good indie talent besides Mookie Summers. Shout out Mookie Summers.
Shout out to Mookie Summers. You guys should follow him. He's gonna be wrestling Speedball Mike Bailey. But yeah, I do think they need to rebuild because they're gonna be calling up more people, right? And they should rebuild. But the problem is just who are these indie wrestlers that are ready to just be on NXT and contribute and have potential? I'm just not sure. I'm not sure who they are.
Definitely. And Hush, the final super chat, Hush 199. How y'all think TK took to the interview?
I don't know. It probably made him sad that Punk was, dissing their business.
I said this to I 100%. Like, I think that the Punk interview had something to do with it, not in the sense of these are Punk guys that he's cutting, because no. But I think it had something to do with it in the sense that it either A, woke him up, or B, made him wake up and do it sooner than he was planning on doing it. So
I think that CM Punk is a very sore subject for Tony Khan in general.
yeah.
And so wouldn't shock me if he actually just didn't watch it because it just hurts him. So
All right, and that's the last super chat of the show.
mm-hmm. All right, guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being what's it called? Interactive. And
Hold on, they could do Leo Rush versus Jay Malachi.
Yeah, just because you have one black man with dreads doesn't mean you can't hire another. Yeah. Speaking of which, they should probably call him out of the Level Up and run with him. He's like super over, and the fans.
I think he's gonna be on.
Yeah, I think so too. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what the future holds. But folks, that's it for the Russell Pierce Raw review. Should be a fun week of content this week. Podcasts all up and down the week. We're probably going to do some type of WrestleMania preview at some point. I'd imagine that there's going to be tons of content and reviews. So stay tuned for all of that, and we'll we'll update you guys on what the schedule is and how we're going to attack everything. Because I mean, Supercard of Honor is going to be Friday night, the Hall of Fame, WrestleMania both nights the next day, NXT Stand and Deliver, everything. So, guys, listen, just be locked in on all that, and thank you so much for supporting the Raw review. We'll catch you guys next time. So, for Rob of the Island of Relevancy, I'm Ibu of Russell Pierce, and we'll see you soon.